I've installed many mini split air conditioners and they're actually just getting easier and easier to put in. But I've mostly only ever done the Mr. Cool brand because they're really designed around being DIY friendly and because I don't have to use a vacuum pump in order to get the whole system working, which is like an $800 part. So this time around I decided to go with Coziware because they have a really good reputation, but more importantly, this was less than half the cost of a Mr. Cool unit. But the question is at half the cost, am I going to have a lot of problems with this? And I had 3 major mistakes that I'm gonna show you so that way you can save money and time and not repeat them like I did. And then you can tell me, were they my fault or Coziware's fault? And I think one of the first questions you have to ask is how many BTUs in a mini split do you need? And a mini split just does heating and cooling very efficiently. It's also known as a ductless system, but basically you usually mount it on an exterior wall and it gives you air conditioning and heating for a space. And in order to find out how many BTUs of a system that you need, all you have to do is take the square footage of the space you're trying to condition and multiply it by 30. Now my garage is about 900 square feet, so 900 multiplied by 30 equals 27,000. That's how many BTUs I should have, but I didn't do that. So it may be the first mistake of the 3 that I made is not sizing this properly because I ended up getting an 18,000 BTU unit instead, which when you do the math on that, that equals 900 multiplied by 20 instead of 30. So that's a whole 33% difference. But for me, this has actually worked out great because I've had it over 90 degrees in the garage, and in just about an hour, it got it all the way from over 90 to just about 70 degrees where it was completely comfortable. So it doesn't seem to be a problem for me here in Idaho, but if you're in a hotter climate, you probably want to step it up to the higher level rather than a lower level just to play it safe. And my name's Ben. If this is at least your second time on the channel, hopefully that means you'll subscribe. And if you made it this far, go ahead and smash the like button. But I'd also like to know what is the hottest day that you've ever experienced and comment it down below. And I'll also comment down below. It'll be the pinned comment at the top with the hottest day that I've ever experienced, as well as links and coupons for the Coziware equipment and anything else you might need. And if you like off-grid stuff, I'm actually going to be converting my cargo trailer to have a mini split in it. So if you want, stay tuned for that. So for the first mistake, it actually ended up working out okay because the 18,000 BTU unit would cost much less than a 24,000 or 30,000 BTU unit, but it still does a fantastic job of cooling the space. So at least in my case, this mistake actually ended up being a benefit. But then comes the question of how do you wire this up? And this is the part that most people get concerned or scared with good reason, because if you've never wired things up before, it can be a bit confusing. And one of the real hacks with this is that you don't have to install it. You could just buy the DIY version of a mini split system and then have an electrician install it. And it's likely still gonna be less than the cost of buying a Mr. Cool unit where you would need to install it to be about that same price. But for me, I needed to get from here on the side of my garage over to here, which is the back side of my garage. That feeds into this box, which then goes up this pipe into the attic, going above my garage, down this wall by my front door, come down through the floor and into this sub panel where I have it installed on this 20 amp breaker. So everybody's house is going to vary because if your main electrical panel is in the garage and you're mounting your mini split in the garage, it's probably going to be pretty easy to get the wire from the mini split to the electrical panel. But this is where I made my second mistake and my most costly one. See this pink wire right here? This is what I used to go all the way from the electrical panel about 75 feet out to the outdoor AC disconnect. And you'll notice that I'm on a 20 amp breaker, but this is a 10-3 wire. And what 10-3 means is that it's a 10 gauge wire rated to 30 amps. And the 3 means that there are 3 conductors, a hot 1, hot 2, and a neutral, plus a bare ground. They never count the ground in the number after the slash. But this wire costs way more than what I actually needed to buy. Because I'm on a 20 amp breaker, because mini splits don't use a lot of power, I didn't need to get a 10 gauge wire. I only needed a 12 gauge. And then the second part of this mistake is that I only need 3 wires total, which is 2 conductors and a ground. We won't get into the weeds in this video, but for example, my EV charger, I did have to run 4 wires total. It's a leg 1, leg 2, neutral, and ground. But for the mini split, or even just for air conditioning, you don't have to have the neutral. Always double check with what you're installing. But that's what it was in my case, but I didn't factor that. And so I have an entire neutral 10 gauge wire that runs all the way from here outside that's doing absolutely nothing because I didn't factor that. And then because this is on a 20 amp breaker, I only need a 20 amp rated wire, which would have been 12 gauge. So I could have very easily just bought a cheap 12/2 Romex wire and had the exact same result saving me hundreds of dollars. So the bottom line is just make sure you're double checking what wire you need to use and don't overspend. There are two tricky parts to this, and that was one, getting that wire down from the attic into this AC disconnect. And then the second is getting all of the wires from the indoor unit to the outdoor unit. So just to go over that real quick, what we did is we had to drill into the top plate of a wall inside of the attic and then drill up through the bottom of the wall in the mechanical room. And that's where that pink wire came down into the mechanical room to go into the electrical box. To make that possible, we used a string and a weight that was made out of steel, and then we used a magnetic hook, and I fed it down from the top while my buddy was reaching up from underneath with the magnet. Once I had the string through the holes, he was actually able to tie on the wire to that rope, and we could pull it up into the attic, and he would push it up from underneath and I'd pull it across the whole attic. And then when it came to lining up out here, all I did was use a laser in order to see where the AC disconnect was going to go and have that pointing up onto the eave to where the wire needed to come out. And then had this conduit body box connect directly to the side of the AC disconnect, go up into the eaves, and then we could feed the wire down that. To make this a little bit easier, I actually put a 90-degree elbow on the top of the conduit, so that way as we're feeding the wire down, it would make it a little easier to transition. Once it popped into the AC disconnect, I could wire it up to the lugs. The other part that's a little tricky is getting the wires, drain hose, and copper pipes that are on the back of this outside and over to the outdoor unit so that it can connect properly. You'll notice that my CozyWare indoor unit is not lined up centered on the door. But when I put the stud finder on the wall, I found that exactly where the pipes needed to go out the wall, that there was a stud in the way. So that's why I offset this slightly to the side where the stud finder said we didn't have a stud. But once it got through the drywall and through the insulation, there was actually more lumber. As I kept trying to come through, I kept hitting more and more wood, and I kept just having to break it out little by little. And I don't know what the heck they did, why there was so much wood there. Then we had to go around this corner, and I ordered this line set cover in order to hide the copper pipes, the drain pipe, as well as the electrical wire that comes with the whole system. And at first I bought a Klein Tools pipe bender, which is supposed to make everything a very clean 90-degree bend. But as I started using it, it actually ended up starting to pinch the pipe, which you do not want to do. So instead of using the pipe bender, I just slowly went with my hands, making sure to not pinch on the exact same spot every single time, and slowly went around the corner. You also notice there's a tilt to this, and that's because of the drain pipe. It needs a bare minimum of 1/8 of an inch drop per linear foot that it reaches. Now, ideally, you want to be closer to 1/4 of an inch per linear foot. So that's what I did here, and over 16 feet, I have about a 4 or 5 inch drop all the way to the end. And so that comes all the way around right to here to where we get to this HVAC tape. This is the drain pipe right here, so that way all the condensation that comes from the indoor unit will drip down here where it's perfectly safe for it to do. I'm not worried about any condensation getting on concrete and turning into ice in the winter and then having a slipping hazard in the winter. This HVAC tape is usually outdoor rated, and so to finish this off, all I did was wrap all of this up and then coiled the last little bit of excess line set or the copper pipe behind the main outdoor unit. And then as well, this black wire is what connects to the indoor head unit. And then this gray tube here is the whip that I purchased that goes down to the AC disconnect. What's so nice about the CozyWare DIY system is that these copper pipes are pre-filled with the refrigerant that's needed for this system to work. All I have to do is tie it into the connectors that are underneath this cover, and then once they're fastened on tightly, with an Allen wrench I can undo a valve, and that lets all of the refrigerant into the system. I don't have to call an HVAC guy for any reason for this system. This wall mount is one that I purchased on Amazon. It was just a cheap one that had good reviews. There are rubber dampers that go underneath the feet as well as on the bolts that are going into the wall to make this as quiet as possible so you don't hear a lot of vibration inside. And once it was all connected, it was time to turn it on and start cooling the garage, or at least so I thought. Because as soon as I tried to turn it on, I had absolutely no response. And so I was really confused, and this is what ended up me finding the third mistake that I made, because the AC disconnect that I put outside was one that I bought from Home Depot, thinking that all AC disconnects are pretty much made the same. And I still don't know why they sell them. If you guys know why this AC disconnect exists, please comment it down below. But this particular one, the copper bars that are meant to connect the power coming in to the power going out, for some reason are not bridged. They are completely separate and there is no way to connect them. In order to test my theory to make sure I had found the right issue, I actually just took some 10 gauge wire and ended up connecting the post inside. There was a pretty big spark, so don't do this. I don't recommend it at all. That actually proved that the system was wired up properly, but that the AC disconnect was the wrong kind. So I had to zip over to Lowe's real quick, pick up a new one, because I wasn't going back to Home Depot and making the same mistake. It didn't take as long as I thought it would take to get the old one off and the new one on, but just make sure you're getting the right AC disconnect and don't make the mistake like I did, wasting a bunch of time and more money. Once I got that figured out, the whole system started working great and started blowing cold air immediately. Now, it doesn't get as hot in Idaho as many other places, but it definitely gets warm, and 90 degrees in the garage is uncomfortable trying to work on projects. I run my 3D printers in my garage full time, so they put off a decent amount of heat, but in addition to that, I'm always testing solar equipment, which puts off a lot of heat. And because the attic is not insulated in the garage, there are so many things factoring to the heat buildup in the garage. So even though all of that was going on, I was successfully able to go from 90 degrees down to about 70 degrees in just about an hour very quickly and very comfortably. The system runs extremely quiet. It's running right now, and you can hardly hear it running in the background at all. But by comparison, this was a huge money saver compared to doing a Mr. Cool, and especially compared to having a professional install it. For myself, I did pull a permit for this, which was very easy and only $80 with my city. It was really not that hard to do. So if you're looking for an affordable and efficient way to heat and cool, you should definitely take a look at the Cozy Wear mini splits, because I've been very impressed with them. I'd say the biggest gripe that I have is with the remote. I had to 3D print a little holder for the remote because it didn't include one, which I thought was pretty odd that they didn't have one that's form fit to this. But in addition, there's a little bit of lag with this. As I make adjustments with this remote, if it's not pointed directly at the mini split, it doesn't always register it. So I would prefer something that has a little bit better reception for the remote, but I can always use the Cozy Wear app if I want to be able to turn this on and off and adjust it remotely from my phone. I have zero complaints about the system. The mistakes, I think, in my opinion, were completely my own fault. Not sizing up the BTUs properly, even though that worked out okay in my favor. Then not sizing the wire properly. I could have saved a lot of money if I had not messed that up, as well as buying the incorrect AC disconnect. All simple mistakes, but just because you've done it before doesn't mean you're going to do it right again. So hopefully this video helps you understand what you should and shouldn't do, and help you get affordable air conditioning and heating wherever you want it. Now make sure to stay tuned, because this is a 240 volt system, but I'm also going to be installing a 120 volt system in a cargo trailer conversion that I'm doing, which will do everything from hauling my side-by-side and cars to using it as a work trailer, doing solar installations, using it to go camping with my family, and even being able to run my entire house without having to have the solar panels connected to my house. So thanks for watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you guys in the next video.